super excited that you're here. Why don't you tell people who you are and what you do, and we'll get started from there.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Connor Derry. I own a small but mighty marketing agency down in Lethbridge, Alberta called In Motion Media. Started originally about 5 years ago under the company name In Motion Social, and we did some great work for some great clients for a couple of years, which was a farm service provider in the heavy equipment space. Last year, September of 2024, decided that it was time to branch off and just dive back into marketing full time, which is really where my passion is. Through the last 5 years of entrepreneurship, because I never shut the marketing agency down alone, I actually learned a ton about how the agricultural sector works, how the entire area around marketing heavy equipment, but then how just lots of these farms and farm businesses work. And ironically, now a massive part of our business is helping market egg-based businesses, and we've been fortunate enough to help a couple farm businesses. So my true background, I have a degree in marketing and self-taught for everything creative, social media, graphic design, anything advertising, and branding. And now we're fortunate enough, as we've been growing, that we have a team of 4 here in Lethbridge, and it's only just the beginning. We're getting the opportunity to just tell stories and help people, help businesses really brand themselves. And that's something that why you're here, why we've had so many conversations. Family or big corporate, you can tell the difference in these farms when they put a voice behind it. So yeah, that's kind of why we're here.
So the blog is all about the branding, and it's not about the hype. And so we've collaborated a bit on this. You had some input into the blog, and that's really so powerful how we can connect and create a message about marketing the farm story or corporate or whatever. And so what are some ways that marketing honors the farm story?
Marketing is about telling the story. So if you are just consistent in your messaging and continually showing a specific look, a specific tone, a specific feel, and it's ongoing on a regular basis, not only externally are people going to see that more, and you're naturally going to start to associate with those that align with the same mission, vision, values that you're communicating through your messaging. But internally, you're going to help people start to buy your internal staff, whether that be hired hands or the family, are going to start to buy into that messaging, and they're going to want to be a part of it. And then you're going to start to see that messaging and that story that you're starting to tell, whether it's the story of the legacy or the story of the future or how you're contributing in a more positive way. You're going to see that start to evolve, and you're going to see new leaders starting to take place within your own organization, and you're going to see external individuals seek your business and seek the opportunities to start to associate with your organization. So when you get multi-generational, some of the farms have amazing stories. We were fortunate enough to do a project for McIntyre Ranch, and this past year, and McIntyre Ranch is over 100 years old now, multi-generation with the new owners, and then multi-generational previously. And we had the opportunity to help tell their story through a series of timeline events. And working through that project, it really took a new image and a new look and feel of that entire operation. And initially there was some hesitation of filming some of the foremen and some of the ranch hands and getting their perspective on things and some of the employees. And once we did one, it was like a snowball effect, and everybody wanted to get involved. Once they saw actually what it was about and what it was communicating, we were able to really start to capture and tell that story in a different way from multiple different perspectives that really filled in a lot of the gaps that we weren't getting or that weren't there from just the initial content and like the backlog of history that the ranch obviously would have from over 100 years of operations.
And it really, I mean, part of what we're saying here is your brand, your story, and really the factor of who you stand for and how you can level that up. You know, it's so powerful. You mentioned leadership too, and that's where our two worlds kind of come together a little bit, where it takes a leader recognizing the ability and to be able to say, hey, I want to be a part of something bigger. I want to grow. I want to learn how to market my story and my brand.
Yeah, and like one thing that's always a clear objective when you're going into farms, like the farm style of business, is that they've never done it before, or they just don't understand how marketing this digital world works, right? It's like they're fine with putting maybe an ad together for a local bull sale or supporting like their local Rotary Club. But
Right.
that's mainly just supporting your community. That's not really telling the story of what your business is, what the goal is for that business to accomplish. And so many of these farms, I'm a city slicker by name. Like I was born and raised in a city. I've worked on farms, but I never grew up on a farm. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago when I was put in a situation where, I was forced to actually like go and walk onto farms and start having these conversations, that you realize how good of it, the positive and the good intentions, and how happy a lot of these business owners, these farm businesses, you realize that a farmyard it's private property, but you realize that that's their place of business. That's their storefront. It's no different walking onto a farmyard a lot of the times asking for like, what do you do, or for help, or if you're willing to sell some farm fresh eggs, or would you be willing to sell a beef, or just talk about the operation and what they're going on. Most of them are so welcoming, and they're so honored that you would actually come in the door to start to learn about the story and what they do. That basically marketing is doing that exact same thing, and it's opening your doors a little more to allow individuals that don't have the same understanding to come on in. You're inviting them in to then understand your story, which that ultimately is going to start to catapult and build the brand that is your family farm. And whether that's you're in the seed business, or you're in the cattle industry, or you're doing poultry or swine, it doesn't really matter, right? Whether you're doing direct to consumer, going to retail, and you're selling to grocery chains, or wherever along the lines your business is supporting the cycle of food to get to the consumer's plate. In agriculture, like you building that brand helps your customers then tell a better story about the products and where they're coming from as well. So that's something that's super important that a lot of family farms don't actually realize.
Yeah.
If you're telling this story and communicating this tone and who you are, it helps attract better people that want to work for you. It helps attract better people that you want to work with. And it also helps you start to now conceptualize what your organization is and what it stands for. And that's something, I guess, that that ties into the leadership role and exactly what you're doing, Arlen, with everything with the farm leadership and the agribusiness leadership is how does that brand actually contribute both from the bottom up when you're talking about marketing and branding, but also from the top down. I kind of said that backwards, actually. I usually say from the top down, but more importantly from the bottom up, which is what a lot of businesses miss, is that when they have the opportunity to tell the story and they have great intentionality behind it, that the individuals that are, I always say the best ideas, the best stories come from the individuals that you feel are least likely to tell them. Right? Yeah. You have to give them the opportunity to speak up.
Yeah. And one of the things that I find, and it is the passion and the warmth of hospitality on the farm. The farmers are not people that don't have a passion, or else they wouldn't be doing it. And so speaking that story from that level of passion and being intentionally able to market it and express it is where you come in. And that's powerful. That's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. And like one thing, like one of the biggest objections, when going onto a farm or trying to talk to some of these operations about lots of them run extremely lean, and it is an added cost to be able to market effectively and continue to tell those stories, right? And especially if you want to do it in a professional manner, if you want to hire an agency to do it, even if you just want to do it internally, it takes time. But the value of what you're putting out there and the compounded interest of reach and notoriety in creating an actual brand and building true brand equity, that is a value that is hard to measure in month-to-month balance sheet or annual balance sheet. That is things that are going to show dividends and pay off in decades, where 10 years from now, when your product, your brand, you're able to hire somebody easier, you're able to create customer relationships better because your product moves quicker, because they can tell the story because you are already telling the story and people already know what your story is. And then eventually, if it ever comes down to a point of exit, you have a way stronger brand that you can then sell, that it's not just that farm, it's something that can live on beyond you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I love it. I love it. This is really good conversation, and you and I can go for a long time. Tell the audience how they can get a hold of you.
If you like, I'm always open for conversations, even if it doesn't turn into anything, or if you just need a couple tips, right? So you can visit our website at inmotionmedia.ca. You can send me an email, Arlen. You can put that in the blog post as well. It's just connor@inmotionmedia.ca. Or give me a call directly. It's my phone number is 403-915-6557. And I'm always open to continue that conversation of how to start to market your farm, right? How do we start to put your name, your vision, your message, your passion, what drives you out into the world so that you can start to attract the people that want to associate with you?
Yes, 100%. This is great. I appreciate your time, and I'll link everything in the blog. And I appreciate you coming on and doing this. So
good. No, absolutely. We can do it anytime.